Specializing in human and organizational performance, human performance improvement, culture change planning and support, and general safety and compliance. Make sure you check out Hominum. That's HOMINUM, HPI.com, HominumHPI.com. They offer OSHA 10 and 30-hour classes regularly in the greater Phoenix area. Check them out at HominumHPI.com or send an email to phxosha@gmail.com. This is Sam Goodman, the Hop Nerd, asking you to head over to www.thehopnerd.com for all of your human and organizational performance needs, from consultation to training and everything in between, from hop fundamentals to learning team facilitation to culture change planning. We help you out with your human and organizational performance journey. Again, head over to www.thehopnerd.com or send me an email to sam@thehopnerd.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hop Nerd Live. The phone lines are open, 480-877-0155. I'm watching the comment sections. I'm checking your DMs. I've got my finger hot and ready on the answer button on my phone, taking your questions, talking all things human and organizational performance, safety, business, and life. We're talking shop and everything else here on the Hop Nerd Live. Hello, howdy, how's everybody doing today? It is Sam Goodman, the Hop Nerd here, joining you once again for a Hop Nerd live show. Let me fix myself here. I'm staring at myself in the in my display, and it's not doing me any favors. Welcome once again to the Hop Nerd Live Show Late Night Edition. Make sure you head over to the website, www.thehopnerd.com. Follow along on all things social media at The Hop Nerd, except for Twitter because it is super duper special. It is The Hop Nerd 1. Make sure you send me an email, all that kind of fun stuff. Sam, that's S-A-M, at The Hop Nerd. You can also use The Hop Nerd at gmail.com. As you just heard, make sure you send me a call. Shoot me a text, 480-877-0155. I've got my eye on this phone. And you send me a text with your question, I'll kind of sort of answer it. That's pretty cool. That's how this stuff kind of works. That's kind of neat to me. You give me a call, leave me a voicemail if I don't answer. If I answer, I'm going to throw you on here with me, and we'll have this super cool conversation. I'm watching the comments over here on YouTube, Facebook, over on the Hop Nerd Facebook channel, over on the Sam Goodman. That's me, Sam Goodman, Facebook profile. I'm keeping an eye out, checking for your questions. You can also shoot me an email. That's sam@thehopnerd.com. I'm watching this stuff, answering your questions, taking your calls, everything from shop-related stuff to personal stuff to whatever you want to talk about. Before we jump into this thing, let's talk about on this day in history. In 1831, Edgar Allan Poe was removed from West Point Military Academy. Poor Edgar. Seemed like such a interesting soul. Definitely like reading some of his stuff. 1865, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln's second inaugural ball took place. In 1922, Babe Ruth signed a 3-year contract with the New York Yankees for $52,000 a year. I bet that was a ton of cash back then. For you history nerds out there, 1951, the Rosenberg trials.
Julius and Ethel Rosenberg accused Soviet spies. Their trial started, and I think we all know how it ended. And if you don't, go Wikipedia. It's kind of interesting. And for those of us that are not nerds, 1978 on this day, hustler, publisher Larry Flynt was shot and ultimately wheelchair-bound by a sniper in Georgia. Pretty wild stuff. Friday, March the 6th. March the 6th sounds like a pretty wild day for a lot of folks. Hopefully ours is not going to be as wild. I'm having a blast with this stuff. I really am. Getting to sit here, answer your questions, do these shows. As I mentioned before, this show will be out on the podcast as well. So the Friday live shows go out on the podcast. Wednesdays not so much. So you're getting 3 episodes a week right now on the Hop Nerd podcast, which is kind of sort of cool. That's a lot of stuff. I like it. It's keeping me busy. I'm having fun. As long as I'm having fun, I guess we're going to keep doing this stuff. And I want to jump into a question that I received during our kind of pre-roll stuff. And the question was, why hop? And then it had a little bit of a follow-up question of how do you find yourself into human and organizational performance as a career? And I think I found myself into that space pretty similar to the way that I found myself into the safety space. I did not wake up as a 5 or 6 year old kid and say, yep, I'm going to be a safety professional. That wasn't my career day. Safety pro was not my career thing. I was probably firefighter, and I ran off and I did that for a while and did some other things for a while, and I then eventually found myself in safety and health by way of industry and interest and a couple other things. And then human and organizational performance was just kind of a natural progression for me. The why piece, the why hop for me is the fact that human and organizational performance finally gave me the voice in and around things that I was trying to say for a very long time. I won't jump down that rabbit hole, but we kind of sort of know what those things are. The things that are kind of sort of dumb, the things that are kind of sort of stupid, that we argue against consistently, but you're frowned upon as a safety professional if you say, all things are not preventable. That makes you a crappy safety professional. Not, but that's kind of how it feels, right? So Hop finally gave me that voice that said, yeah, that stuff is kind of sort of dumb. Let me dive into this and become a nerd and really start researching and getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it. So that's kind of the how, and that's kind of the why. So I hope that answers your question. And from there, we'll jump into a little bit of the news today, which will be kind of sort of fun. I'm double checking, seeing how our comments are going here, checking some emails, looking out for you. It's 8 o'clock at night here in Phoenix, drinking coffee. Here, check this out. Let me show you this. Look at that beautiful downtown Phoenix, Arizona. The Hop Nerd comes to you live from the sunny, the beautiful, and the currently dark Phoenix, Arizona. If you're ever in town, make sure you hit me up. We'll meet up. We'll grab some coffee. We'll talk some hop stuff. We might even do a podcast. Let's jump into today's news. So, pulling from a couple news and trending things today, I saw something that was super interesting. I apparently missed this because it happened back in 2017, but there was a fatality on the set of The Walking Dead, and I don't know how I missed that because I'm kind of a Walking Dead fanboy a little bit, but a stuntman was apparently killed in 2017. The jury found that TWD9, an AMC network entity, and his production company, Stewart Films, were negligent in the death of a 33-year-old stuntman, John Bernecker. And the really interesting part about this is the sum of money in which they awarded, which was $8.6 million. That's a pretty massive settlement, if you ask me. That's quite a large settlement. They found that they were negligent, and the story goes on to basically say that there was some misplacement of some stunt pads. There were some other things that happened, and ultimately due to some time pressure and some production pressure that was being felt on the set, there was some concern as to whether or not the stuntman would have felt comfortable raising the concerns. Ultimately, things changed a little bit. His trajectory changed, and he ultimately overshot the pads, landing on a concrete floor. He was doing a stunt fall, and things did not end well. He died a few days later in the hospital. Additionally, OSHA fined Stewart Films $12,675. Gee whiz, wow. Right? Look at the teeth on that thing, right? So ultimately, the family was awarded $8.6 million. That is always a sad story to hear of that kind of stuff happening at work. Something that I also found was very, very interesting, and I will just throw it out here like this, is hashtag Murder House. Holy cow, that sounds super awesome. So a new and totally unconventional series, well, that's one way to put it, called Murder House Flip is coming soon, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a home makeover show that takes on houses where a murder happened. Kind of creepy, pretty intriguing, says the article. Super creepy, super awesome. If you ask me, that sounds like right up my alley. That's a blast. I think it sounds really, really good. The article goes on to say that we are thrilled to bring this one-of-a-kind series to life and dive into a world that combines America's two biggest TV obsessions, true crime and home renovation. That's pretty amazing. I think that's going to be a super awesome series. It's going to be on Quibi. I've never heard of Quibi. Have you heard of Quibi? Let me know. Send me an email, shoot me a text. Leave me a comment, something like that. I'd be really interested to understand what Quibi is. I've never seen that or experienced it, but I will tell you, I'm about to tell them to just take all of my money and give me this show. I think it looks like it'd be a blast. It says, what can viewers expect from this home improvement show? A colorful cast of forensic specialists, spiritual healers, and high-end renovation experts. I'm sorry, but that sounds like they just read one of our resumes. That sounds like my resume. I'm pretty sure that's when you read my resume as a safety pro, that's what it says. It says forensic specialist, spiritual healer, high-end renovation expert, Samuel Goodman, who also specializes in human and organizational performance. But it says that they'll go on to uncover the crimes, shocking secrets, and scandalous history of the homes. So I'm sorry, I think it's super duper cool. I think it's like Chip and Joanna Gaines remodel the Manson Murder Ranch. I think that would be perfect. I think that sounds super duper awesome. Moving on, Starbucks is stopping reusable cups. So if you've been using or relying upon that for some reason, Starbucks is no longer doing that. If you're bringing your own cup, they're not going to fill it up for you. And you guessed it, it's due to the fear of coronavirus. So unusually, they are usually way big into environmental stuff. Reusable Cups does that. They usually give you like 10 cents or something like that for bringing in your reusable cup. Not happening, not so much anymore, not right now, until we get past this thing. It says that they have increased cleaning and sanitizing for all company-operated stores to help prevent the spread of germs, which leads me over into this really interesting piece that I had read about Naomi Campbell and her really interesting sanitization routine when it comes to flying on airplanes. And she basically goes through, and the article's here, you can go look it up, go check it out on YouTube. She basically does a how-to video on how you like scrub down the seats, how you do all this kind of stuff, how you pretty much clean everything that you touch, everything that you could possibly touch. It's tons of like Sandy wipes and all this kind of crap. And she really starts wiping stuff down about the second that she steps into a plane. And according She says the key is to focus on your health and not on what other people think of your pre-flight ritual. I do not care what people think of me. It's my health and it makes me feel better. And good for her. I mean, if that's what she wants to do, that's totally cool. Don't look at me weird when I don't do that. Sorry, I'm not the biggest germaphobe. Stuff really doesn't freak me out that much. She also encourages the use of basically a surgical mask, and health officials advised against wearing those protective masks unless you're sick yourself. She says that that's not true, that she wears it all the time and it's good for you. And that's just not true. They're actually not so great for you. Surgical masks don't protect against this stuff. If you're sick, it helps keep you from spreading stuff. But it doesn't really help you from catching anything. So again, kind of sort of dumb. And can we just go on a little rant about this whole freaking thing? I think it's kind of dumb, just in general. So please hear me out. We have swine flu, bird flu, this flu, that flu. And a doctor friend of mine told me not too long ago, it said, just remember, it's still just the flu. Okay, first off, it's still just the flu. So let's put that into a little bit of perspective. While people are going out and paying $500 and $600 for a gallon of hand sanitizer, or more than that, it's kind of sort of ridiculous. We're switching over, trying to use these surgical masks that don't do anything. We're spending all this money on hand sanitizer that's second best, and that's kind of what I want to rant on, is that it's second best. Can we just say that washing your hands is number one? Soap is not expensive. Go buy soap, antibacterial soap. Can you not just do that? Can you, if it's that important that you touch something that icky, can you not walk in and wash your hands? Can you not stop somewhere and wash your hands? Because hand sanitizer is seriously not as good. It's not nearly as good. But you're going to go out and you're going to spend $200 on a thing of hand sanitizer. I'm sorry. It's stupid. It's just absolutely stupid. And that brings us to our first break. We'll be back in about 30 seconds to a minute.
Looking for OSHA 10 or 30-hour training for yourself or your organization? Head over to Hominum, HOMINUM, HPI.com. That's HominumHPI.com. They offer OSHA 10 and 30-hour outreach training on a regular basis in the greater Phoenix area. They also offer all kinds of other general safety and compliance services, along with their specialty, human and organizational performance and human performance improvement. Again, head over to Hominum, HOMINUM, HPI.com, or send an email to phxosha@gmail.com. Specializing in human and organizational performance, human performance improvement, culture change planning and support, and general safety and compliance. Make sure you check out Hominum. That's HOMINUM, HPI.com, HominumHPI.com. They offer OSHA 10 and 30-hour classes regularly in the greater Phoenix area. Check them out at hominumhpi.com or send an email to phxosha@gmail.com.
We are back. What did you think about that? Had to jump away for just a second, fix a couple of things. Hopefully I didn't abandon you too fast there. But let's dive into today's words of wisdom. I am free no matter what rules surround me. If I find them tolerable, I tolerate them. If I find them too obnoxious, I break them. I am free because I know that I alone am morally responsible for everything that I do. Robert Heinlein. Excellent quote. I share that one a bunch. I share that one pretty frequently. And that leads us into kind of a main topic. I'm not going to do a main topic for kind of all these sort of things, but I will do them for some. And the one thing that I really wanted to dive into today, or at least share with you today, was in and around this thought that we need to talk more about mental health at work. I don't think we do a really good job of that. And I have an HBR, a Harvard Business Review article here in front of me that's talking about that and really talking about the challenges around that, and then some of the cost around that. And it goes on to say that still less than 1/3 of the people with mental illness get the treatment that they need, and this comes at a cost to the people and to companies. Failure to acknowledge an employee's mental health can hurt productivity, professional relationships, and the bottom line, $17 to $44 billion is lost to depression every year, whereas $4 is returned to the economy for every $1 spent caring for people and their mental health issues. I'm going to say it kind of like this, too. You need to do it because it's the right thing to do. Companies should be focused on this. It's something that we should continue to drive and should continue to push on. I can't tell you how many stories I have had in the past few weeks alone from safety practitioners talking about the well-being of safety practitioners, the mental health and general well-being of safety practitioners. I was just looking as I was pulling up some questions on my phone. I've got several right here that just text messages in and around that same subject. And it really goes, most of them go on to talk about burnout and leaving and quitting and worse. I mean, just a lot of not so great stuff. And someone had asked me a question about how are EHS professionals' mental attitudes holding up? How many bullets are they taking? This person goes on to say that I see a lot of folks staying quiet and afraid to say anything that might get them blackballed or blacklisted. And yeah, I think that's still prevalent out there in some industries. I'd love to hear your stories. I clearly won't share who you are, but I would love to hear your stories. I'd love to continue that conversation because I think that's a conversation that we have to have. So often, folks out there trying to do the right thing, safety practitioners are put in a weird spot and they're beat up and kind of beat and worse, tarred, feathered, beat, beheaded practically, right? And to the point to where you're like, okay, I'm done. And I've talked a lot about burnout over the past little bit for that reason, because folks continue to bring it up to me, continue to talk to me and bring up that conversation on burnout. So if you're talking to me about it, it's hard for me not to talk about it. I think it's important. I think we're all seeing a lot of that still going on out in their industry. And it leads to some not so great mental stuff. The article says, in spirit of being open, I will share that I've cried in many workplace bathrooms between anxiety attacks and clinical depression and all kinds of other stuff. And I think folks that say that they have not experienced something like that at work are lying. Or you've been extremely fortunate in and around the places that you have worked. If you've worked in any type of high-stress environment, high-stress industry, you've probably experienced some stuff like that. So I think it's something that we really need to continue to talk about. And I don't know what else to say other than I think we need to have the conversation. I think that's probably the biggest piece to this whole thing, is that we need to continue in having that conversation. We need to take better care of each other. I think that's probably one of the larger pieces of that, is we really need to take better care of each other. We need to be open to having those conversations. We need to talk to each other. We need to ask people if they need help, and we need to be willing to ask people for help. We need to continue to talk to each other. Anytime that we talk about this stuff, I'm always going to share this. So I don't mean to be Mr. Doom and Gloom as we kind of approach towards the end of our time here. But the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. I also want to share an organization that I think is phenomenal. If you watch along on the Rated R Safety Show, or if you follow along with Dr. Jay Allen, listen to his show, you've probably seen him sporting some of their swag, or you've seen him talk about them a little bit, and that's To Write Love on Her Arms. They're a great organization as well. You can check them out at twloha.com. They offer a lot of services and resources. They do a lot of really, really good work. So again, I would encourage you to go over and check them out. Again, I think it's just a conversation that we need to continue to have, and we do not talk about it enough. There's still a lot of stigma around it, and for whatever reason that stigma exists, I think we're outgrowing some of it, and I think that's probably a really good thing. But we need to continue. We definitely need to continue to chip away at it. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing. You never tell us what you're drinking. I forget to do that. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I always change up my handy dandy fancy mug, but it's the same as last time. I mentioned in the last live stream that I've upgraded to Nespresso. So this is Nordic Cloudberry, double shot, ready to go. And that's it. That's all it is right now. I've got a little bit of a remnant of some tea hanging out over here, but that's about it. Well, that is pretty much our time for today. As I had mentioned before, please remember, these things go live every Wednesday, 5 p.m., every Friday at 8 p.m. Both of those are in Phoenix time, which is currently Mountain Standard. We do not do the whole daylight savings time thing. So keep that in mind. So that might change a little bit for you. But again, every Monday, it's a crazy day for me. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m., every Friday at 8 p.m. The Friday episode also comes out over on the podcast, so keep that in mind. There's some changes going on around, so that's kind of neat. I got some big announcements that are coming in the next couple weeks, and I'm so excited to share them with you. I kind of sort of want to do it now, but I can't. Do you ever have stuff like that where you just kind of sort of got to do it, but you can't? But the main podcast comes out on Monday. That's released 3 a.m. Phoenix time. The mini podcast comes out on Wednesday. Then you get the Wednesday live stream that happens at 5. And then on Friday, you get the late night live stream, which you're listening to right now. And that happens at 8 p.m. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, you get the Coffee Time with Sam series videos. So those are kind of cool, where we dive into a couple little topics. We have fun. We have a cup of coffee, and we talk shop. We talk not shop. We talk other stuff too. And then on Saturdays, you get the Saturday update. If you're not following along on all the social media stuff, please make sure you do. The Hop Nerd. It's at The Hop Nerd on practically everything except for Twitter, because it is super duper special, right? It is The Hop Nerd 1. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'm pumping out a ton of content, stuff that I hope you find super useful. It's stuff that I want you to be able to rip off and steal and go use as a safety pro, as a professional, as a leader in an organization. I want you to steal it. I want you to take it. I want you to use it. If you got questions about how you should, or what I mean by something, I'm happy to help. You ask any of those folks out there that follow along with me. I like to jump in. I like to get my hands dirty. I like to help you along on your hop journey. I like to have this conversation with you, because I think that is how we make the world a better place to work. Coming together as a family, as a profession, all of that stuff, and really, really, really making it happen. Everybody say hello to my little Fugler friend here as well. But that's all I've got. That's it. That's it for today. So I will be back at some point tomorrow, bringing you a Hop Nerd Weekend update. Until next time, you know how to get a hold of me. You know all that kind of fun stuff. Use the email. Use that handy dandy text message number 480-877-0155. Listen in on the podcast. Go follow along on LinkedIn. Shoot me an email, sam@thehopnerd.com. Go check out the website, www.thehopnerd.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know who you want to see on the show, who you want to see on the podcast, who you want to have call in and all that kind of fun stuff. I look forward to hearing from you. So until next time, everybody, it is Sam Goodman. I am signing off. So until next time, bye, everybody. Bye.
Specializing in human and organizational performance, human performance improvement, culture change planning and support, and general safety and compliance. Make sure you check out Hominum. That's HOMINUM, HPI.com, HominumHPI.com. They offer OSHA 10 and 30-hour classes regularly in the greater Phoenix area. Check them out at HominumHPI.com or send an email to phxosha@gmail.com. Are you looking for OSHA 10 or 30-hour training for yourself or your organization? Head over to Hominum, HOMINUM, HPI.com. That's HominumHPI.com. They offer OSHA 10 and 30-hour outreach training on a regular basis in the greater Phoenix area. They also offer all kinds of other general safety and compliance services, along with their specialty, human and organizational performance and human performance improvement. Again, head over to Hominum, HOMINUM, HPI.com, or send an email to phxosha@gmail.com. This is Sam Goodman, the Hop Nerd, asking you to head over to www.thehopnerd.com for all of your human and organizational performance needs, from consultation to training and everything in between, from hop fundamentals to learning team facilitation to culture change planning. We help you out with your human and organizational performance journey. Again, head over to www.thehopnerd.com or send me an email to sam@thehopnerd.com.